Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine this. It's late on Christmas Eve. The world outside has softened into silence. Snow falls like tiny pieces of softness drifting from the sky. A warm candle flickers on the table. You're holding a cup of cocoa between your hands, warm enough to melt the tension you didn't even know you were carrying. This isn't just a drink. This is a moment. A pause. A breath. An invitation. Because tonight, on this silent night, something within you is calling for your attention. Something small, soft, and long forgotten. Something you haven't listened to in years. Your inner child. And as the warmth of the cocoa rises into your palms, you realize this moment is not accidental. It is a homecoming. This is where our journey begins. The silent night within you. There is a kind of silence that is heavy and lonely. But there is also a silence that is healing. The silence of the world slowing down. The silence of the heart finally exhaling. The silence where truth can finally be heard because the noise has stepped aside. You've been busy for months, maybe for years, running from task to task, holding everything together, performing your strength even in moments when you were falling apart inside. But tonight, something shifts. The world outside grows quiet. The pressure softens. And your heart whispers something you can no longer ignore. Listen. This episode is a conversation you've needed more than you realized. Not with me, but with yourself. With the part of you who remembers the magic you used to feel. The part of you who once believed everything was possible. The part of you who felt everything so deeply, so honestly, so openly, before you learned to hide your emotions to survive. Tonight, that part of you steps forward. Not to overwhelm you, but to come home. Why cocoa? Why Christmas Eve? Why this moment? Cocoa is warmth. Cocoa is childhood. Cocoa is comfort. It's the cup someone once handed you when you were small, or the cup you always wished someone would offer. Cocoa is the feeling of being cared for, even if you never truly got that care in the way you needed. It symbolizes something your inner child has craved for years. Softness. Warmth. A moment to breathe. A sense that you don't have to be strong right now. Christmas Eve carries that same energy. This holiday season, something in the air always slows us down. The lights glow softly. The nights grow still. Old memories rise. Old wounds surface. Old longings awaken. It's not regression. It's remembrance. Your inner child becomes louder during the season because the world around you suddenly mirrors what they once believed life could be. Magic. Hope. Wonder. Connection. Possibility. Tonight's episode isn't about reliving childhood Christmases, good or painful. It's about using this moment to reconnect with the child within you whose voice has been quiet for too long. The child at the table. Imagine sitting at a wooden table lit only by the glow of a candle. Across from you sits a small version of yourself. They might be 5, or 7, or 9, or even younger, that age you can almost remember but not quite. This child looks at you with a mixture of curiosity and longing. Not longing for gifts. Not longing for perfection. Longing for you. Your presence. Your understanding. Your gentleness. Your attention. They don't need you to fix the past. They don't need explanations. They don't want apologies or promises. They simply want to be acknowledged. They want you to see them. Most adults spend their lives trying to outrun their inner child. Yet what that child really wants is to sit with you, here, at this table on a silent night, surrounded by softness. This episode is that conversation. Before we begin the dialogue, a gentle truth. There is something important you need to understand before we move deeper. Your inner child is not childish. They are not immature. They are not a weaker or worse version of you. They are the original you. The emotional blueprint. The foundation of your nervous system. The keeper of your earliest memories. The protector of your most vulnerable truths. This younger version of you is the one who felt hurt first. The one who felt love first. The one who learned disappointment first. The one who believed in magic before you learned fear. The one who trusted naturally before life taught you caution. The one who wanted connection so deeply it still echoes inside you. Christmas Eve whispers to this child. Because the world outside slows down long enough for their voice to finally rise. Tonight, we will let it. Your first gentle check-in. Before we move into part 2, where you'll sit with this child and begin a real conversation. I want you to pause with your cocoa. Feel its warmth in your hands. Feel your shoulders loosen. Feel your heart soften. Now ask yourself 3 quiet questions. How am I really feeling right now? Not what you think you should feel, but what is actually here. Where in my body do I feel that emotion? Your chest? Your stomach? Your throat? Your hands? What might my inner child be trying to tell me in this moment? A need? A memory? A longing? A truth? You don't need answers yet. You only need curiosity. Curiosity opens the door. Compassion keeps it open. This episode is not about fixing you. Let's make this clear before we continue. You do not need to be fixed. Nothing about you is broken. Not your emotions. Not your memories. Not your sensitivity. Not your longing. Not your need for warmth. Not your holiday tenderness. This episode is not about changing you. It's about understanding you. It's about remembering the parts of yourself you abandoned because life asked too much of you too soon. It's about letting the younger you finally exhale in your presence. Part 1 existed to open the space, to create the atmosphere, to prepare your heart for what comes next. Because in the next part, we will sit with your inner child. We will let them speak. We will listen. We will understand. We will reconnect. And you will leave with a softness you didn't know you were allowed to feel. Take one more slow breath. Inhale warmth. Exhale pressure. Feel the cocoa in your hands. Feel the silence around you. Feel the child inside you waiting. Not with impatience, but with quiet hope. This is where part 2 begins. The moment your inner child finally finds their voice again. Part 2. The conversation you've been avoiding, the connection you've always needed. Now that the room has quieted. Now that your breath has softened. And now that the child inside you knows you're here. Let's begin. Imagine the younger you sitting across the table. Feet barely touching the floor. Hands wrapped around their own little cup of cocoa. Eyes wide not with fear, but with the fragile hope that you might finally listen. They don't speak right away. Inner children rarely do. They wait to see if this time is different. If this time you're truly present. So take another breath. Let your shoulders drop. Settle into this moment. Because tonight, you are ready. The first words you say matter. Look at this child gently, softly, without judgment. And in your mind say to them, I'm here now. You don't have to be alone this time. Watch what happens in their expression. Their shoulders lower. Their eyes soften. Their breath deepens. Because these might be the words they waited years to hear. Inner peace doesn't start with silence. It starts with safety. And for the first time, you are giving that safety to yourself. Let the child speak first. Now, imagine the younger you taking a small sip of cocoa. Their feet swinging gently under the chair. And with a voice soft enough to break your heart, they finally speak. They might say, I was scared. Or, I didn't understand. Or, I tried so hard. Or, I just wanted someone to be there. Or, I didn't know what to do. Or even, I missed you. Whatever they say, let it come. Don't correct them. Don't explain. Don't justify. Adults explain. Children feel. And tonight, you are listening to feeling, not logic. Why this inner conversation matters so much. You may think you already processed your childhood. You may think you've moved on. You may think the past is the past. But the emotional body doesn't measure time the way the mind does. If it wasn't met, it waits. It waits quietly for a moment exactly like this one. A silent night. A warm drink. A softened heart. To finally make itself heard. The younger you inside still holds. The unanswered questions. The fears they never voiced. The disappointments they brushed aside. The loneliness they swallowed. The tears they hid. The wonder they lost. The love they needed but didn't know how to ask for. When you sit with them on this imaginary Christmas Eve, you're not regressing. You're reconnecting. You're not reopening wounds. You're allowing old wounds to breathe so they can finally close. Ask the questions no one ever asked you. Now ask the child across from you. The questions no adult ever asked. But every child deserves to hear. What hurt you the most? What confused you the most? What scared you the most? What did you need that you didn't get? What did you hope for? What made you feel small? What made you feel lonely? What made you feel unloved? What made you feel safe? What made you feel happy? Let their answers rise inside you. Some may come as memories. Some as sensations. Some as a sudden emotion. Some as words. Some as tears. Whatever form it takes, it's real. Your body remembers everything, even when your mind forgets. Tonight, you're finally hearing the truth. The moment you realize their feelings were valid. At some point in this conversation, you might feel a wave of compassion so deep it almost hurts. That's because you're seeing something clearly. The child you once were was never dramatic, never too sensitive, never overreacting, never imagining things, never asking too much. They were human. They were honest. They were hurting. They were longing. They were trying. Most importantly, they were doing their best with the tiny emotional tools they had. And seeing them now through adult eyes does not invalidate their pain. It illuminates it. It makes it impossible to deny. It makes it impossible to belittle. It makes it impossible to walk away again. You're not here to argue with the past. You're here to understand it. That is how peace begins. Offer the words they needed most. Once your inner child finishes speaking, once their emotions surface without interruption, offer them the one thing they always needed. Validation. Tell them, it makes sense you felt that way. You were just a child. You weren't wrong. You weren't too much. You didn't deserve that pain. You did your best. You should have been protected. It wasn't fair. You deserved to be loved. You deserved care. I'm so sorry you went through that. But I'm here now. These words matter more than you know. They rewire emotional history. Because the nervous system doesn't heal when you forget. It heals when you are finally understood. This is not imagination. This is repair. Some people dismiss inner child work as imaginary. But imagined connection still creates real healing. The emotional brain doesn't distinguish between a memory, a dream, an imagined conversation, or a lived experience. It responds to the emotional truth. When you sit with a child inside you, you are not pretending. You are reconnecting the broken threads of your emotional story. You are giving the child within you the care, compassion, and safety they needed, so that the adult you can finally feel peace. This is psychological. This is neurological. This is spiritual. This is human. The softening. When your inner child begins to trust you, at some point during this talk, you'll notice something shifting. The child looks less afraid, less tense, less guarded. Maybe their breathing slows. Maybe they smile. Maybe they simply sit more comfortably in the chair. As though for the first time, they feel safe. This is not imagination. This is your nervous system settling. This is the emotional tension you've carried for decades loosening. This is your inner world reorganizing itself around safety. And once the inner child feels safe, your adult self begins to heal. Anxiety softens. Shame dissolves. Overthinking quiets. Loneliness calms. Emotional exhaustion lifts. And peace finally enters. Not because you forced it, but because you made room for it. Before we move into part 3, the integration. Part 1 opened the door. Part 2 allowed the conversation to unfold. Part 3 will help you integrate this connection into your life, so you can feel the effects long after Christmas ends, and long after this silent night fades. In Part 3, you will learn how to carry this inner child home, into the new year, into your routines, into your relationships, into your heart. You will learn how to speak to yourself with softness, instead of pressure, with compassion, instead of criticism, with presence, instead of avoidance. Take one more slow breath before we continue. Part 3. Taking your inner child home. A new beginning beyond Christmas night. The candle on the table has burned lower now. The cocoa in your hands has cooled a little, and the room has settled into an even deeper silence. But inside you something has awakened. Something feels tender, open, and strangely relieved. You've just had a conversation the younger you waited years, maybe decades, to have. Now comes the part the heart needs most. Integration. Reunion. Reparenting. A gentle promise. Because it's one thing to visit your inner child on a silent Christmas night. It's another to bring them home with you. Your inner child doesn't want a holiday moment. They want a lifetime. Many people do inner child work once, feel a powerful release, and then automatically drift back into patterns of self-neglect. But your inner child is not a seasonal visitor. They live inside you. They feel with you. They remember through you. They speak through your emotions, your fears, your needs, your sensitivities. And now that you've listened to them, now that you've sat with them, held space for them, validated them, comforted them, they are asking you for something more. Not perfection. Not constant attention. Not dramatic healing rituals. Just presence. Just gentleness. Just consistency. Just a little more of you. Your inner child's one request: please don't leave me again. When you close your eyes, you can almost hear them whisper it. Not in fear, but in hope. Because once a child finally feels safe, their deepest fear is abandonment. Not physical abandonment, but emotional abandonment. The adult version of this looks like ignoring your needs, pushing through exhaustion, forcing yourself to be strong, dismissing your feelings, shaming your emotions, silencing your truth, belittling your sensitivity, abandoning yourself to please others. Your inner child has lived through enough of that. They've felt the consequences for years. And tonight, this Christmas Eve in your heart, they're asking for the smallest, most sacred promise. Stay with me. You don't have to change overnight. You don't have to heal perfectly. You don't have to know what to do next. Just stay close. Just don't disappear again. That is enough to begin. How to bring this child into the new year. Tonight is not the end. It's the beginning. A soft, steady beginning. Here are gentle ways to carry this connection forward so your inner peace isn't just a holiday moment, but a new way of living. 1. Talk to yourself the way you talk to your inner child tonight. You were gentle, tender, patient, compassionate. Keep that tone. Every morning, every challenge, every overwhelm, every misunderstanding. What would I say to the younger me right now? Because your inner child doesn't disappear when the holiday lights fade. They're with you every morning of the new year. 2. Let your body lead you to what you need. Children express emotions through the body. Adults ignore the body until it screams. But the inner child whispers through. Tightness in your chest. A knot in your stomach. Tiredness for no reason. A sudden ache in your heart. A desire to cry. A craving for comfort. A need to slow down. When these sensations come, listen. They're not weaknesses. They're messages. Your inner child is saying, please notice me. Something doesn't feel right. Awareness is care. Care is healing. 3. Create small rituals of warmth, not discipline. The world encourages discipline. Your inner child needs rituals of comfort. This could be a nightly warm drink, lighting a candle, a gentle walk in the morning, soft music, a warm shower, speaking words of reassurance, sitting quietly on your bed before sleep, writing a few lines of honesty in a journal. None of these fix you. They support you. They create an emotional home inside your daily routine. 4. Break the patterns that hurt your younger self. Your inner child doesn't want perfection. They want protection. When you set a boundary, say no. Walk away from disrespect. Choose rest over productivity. Choose softness over self-criticism. Choose honesty over pretending. Choose connection over avoidance. You are telling your younger self, this time, I will take care of you. This is what healing truly looks like. Not dramatic breakthroughs, but everyday alignment. Tonight you become the adult you needed. Let that truth settle. Right now. In this moment. You are becoming the emotionally safe, emotionally available, emotionally gentle adult that the younger you once prayed for. You didn't have to be perfect to get here. You didn't need to have it figured out. You didn't need to earn it. You just had to show up. Tonight, on this silent night, you did. the final moments at the table. Let's return to the table for a moment. The candle is almost gone now. The silence is deeper. The cocoa is lukewarm. Your inner child looks at you. Not with fear, but with a soft, quiet trust. They reach out their small hand, and you take it. They don't say much. They don't need to. Their eyes say everything. Thank you for coming back for me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for not turning away. Thank you for being my safe place. And you let your heart respond. I won't forget you. I won't abandon you again. We go together now. You're coming home with me. This is not imagination. This is return. This is reunion. This is repair. This is rebirth. As Christmas fades, inner peace begins. When the holidays end, most people return to pressure, rushing, obligation, performance. But not you. Not anymore. You now know something they don't. Inner peace is not created through discipline. It is created through presence. Peace begins when you stop fighting yourself and start caring for the child inside you, as though they matter, because they do, more than you ever let yourself believe. If this episode touched a tender place inside your heart, if it made you feel seen, soothed, or understood, I created something to support you even more deeply this season. Free gift, coming home for the holidays, a gentle inner child awakening. Download my free mini ebook to continue this journey with softness and guidance. It will help you understand your holiday emotions, reconnect with your inner child, cultivate daily inner peace, soothe overwhelm and loneliness, practice emotional gentleness, end the year with clarity and calm. The link is in the description. Let it be your companion this holiday season. And if you'd like to go deeper, my full holiday book, Unwrapping Myself, A Holiday Journey of Coming Home to Wonder and the Inner Child, is a warm, transformative guide for anyone longing for emotional safety, gentleness, and inner magic. If this episode brought you comfort or peace, please consider supporting this space. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new healing audio. Like this episode to help it reach someone who feels tender and alone tonight. Share it with someone you love. Someone whose inner child might need a little warmth this holiday season. Your presence here means more than you know. Thank you for spending this silent night with yourself. Thank you for offering your inner child the kindness they deserved. Thank you for choosing healing over hiding. Take one more slow breath. And whenever you're ready, I'll meet you in the next episode.